All praises due to the Most High, family. We back with another Acres anime review. I just finished watching episode 10 of Clevatess, and we got a lot in this episode. So we got to dive straight into it, family. So we open up the episode with Road, who got his tail whooped by Drel a few episodes ago. He see Gart fly in to the battle scene, the previous battle scene at the river. And so Gart he noticed that Clevatess is in this blood prison, this dark ether prison. And he tried to see if he can bust him out, but he can't bust him out. And so Road, he's like, whoa, he see Gart fly in. He like, whoa, you can fly? Is that magic? And so Gart just ride with that and tell him, instead of admitting that he's a dark beast, he just tell him, yeah, I'm using magic, right? And so we don't see what comes of this pairing after this, because we didn't see them again in the episode. But basically they have an agreement that Gart is gonna bring Road to Heaterat to the battle scene where Drel is, right? But we don't see them again in the episode, so we don't know what to make of that quite yet. Now, after that, we get right into Alicia and Drel throwing hands. And these two, I mean, it's a lot going on. It's basically like a little war. It's like this is a battle site. And these two are like giants among men. I mean, they're having at it, and it's just way bigger and more dramatic than what anybody else on the battlefield is doing. They were throwing hands for real. And it gets to the point where Drel decide that he gonna explain to Alicia like what the drama between Drel and Alicia's father, Margot, right? And so we get into the backstory. Basically, Drel was an instructor for Margot. He basically taught him the way of the sword, right? But Margot was very naturally talented. Like, he was just, they call him a genius, right? And so they're having basically a tournament. We see them at the finals, the final showdown of this tournament. But this tournament was basically to determine who was going to inherit the regalia that the Hedenian king had made. And if you notice, this is the very regalia that Drel is wielding at this moment, right? Like in present time. But in the flashback, we see that this is the one that they are competing for. So Margot actually wins the matchup, and he's the one who inherits the regalia at first. And then the king explains to Margot that this regalia is incomplete. What you need to do is you need to slay a dark beast with this regalia. But he mentions that the first thing that you slay with this regalia is what completes it. And so Margot says, okay, well, I gotta find something very, very strong to slay with this regalia as to complete it. Like if you just take care of a weak dark beast, it doesn't very much improve this regalia. So he's aiming for the stars. And so he basically, Margot and Drel are having like lunch or dinner. They're having a meal together after this tournament. Drel was a little salty, but they're like, you know, competitive buddies at this point. So this wasn't like this didn't turn him sour. So they meeting after the fact, and Margot says, man, I want to slay a dragon with this thing. So I need your help. I need a party to accompany me because I can't slay anything until we find the dragon. Okay, so we find the dragon. And they don't tag team the dragon, but Margot uses, the dragon's flying, family. So Margot's like, man, I can't get up there. So he shouts to Drel, hey, Drel, use your technique to launch me in the air, and I'm gonna bring this dragon down to the ground and start fighting it. So it worked. And Margot's, he's throwing hands with the dragon. And he's looking good. Family, tell me why when he's going in to finish the dragon off, he trips over a rock. He literally trips over a rock. And if you remember seeing Margot earlier in the series, like when we first introduced to him, we noticed that he's missing a leg. This is how he ended up losing his leg. He tripped over the rock. The dragon saw this opening, this opportunity to take him out, and took his leg out and then stomped on him. Right before the dragon stomped on him, Margot tossed the regalia to Drel, basically saying like, hey, go ahead and finish this job for me. And Drel do. He slayed a dragon. But this was obviously, I mean, this was a strong dark beast, but this was not the Lord of the Dark Beast, which looks like is what came after Drel successfully slayed the dragon. We seen a bigger dragon show up out of nowhere. Unannounced, you know, no sign of appearing. It just pop up. And this, we didn't get confirmation, but I think this is one of the 4 Lord of the Dark Beasts. And so that basically stomp out Drel. And Drel says that he woke up in a giant footprint, and it was like a pool of blood. So I don't know how he survived this attack, but he did nonetheless. Before that happened, though, we did see the dragon that Drel slayed, that Margot lost to. We did see the soul of that dragon enter the regalia. So that was successful. I don't know if that had anything to do with Drel surviving from the bigger dragon. I don't know. But we did see the regalia gain the soul. So then we get back to the battle, like present day. And Drel is explaining that through this encounter, he learned that basically the kings of Hitterat were basically like asking the heroes to do something impossible. He comes to the conclusion that the kings of this land know that magic exists, but that just these regalia are not enough to slay the Lords of the Dark Beast. So this is kind of, he didn't explain it fully, but this is what turns Drel against everybody else. This is what puts him on the path that he's currently on. This is why he's trying to break into the forge and discover like the truths of magic and everything. So he low-key like disposed of Alicia. He hit her with a mean attack. She broke her arm and leg, but we know she's immortal, so she recovered from that. But he's headed towards the forge. Now, earlier in the episode, Clint entered the forge. Clevatess entered the forge. This was kind of crazy, family. When he entered the forge, because he tried to use Luna to enter from the outside. He enters from the top, and as he's landing in there, he sees that someone else came through the outside like he originally tried to. Lo and behold, it's the very king that Clevatess thought he took out in the first episode, but he's headless. He's like carrying his own head and Luna. And then, so Alicia's trying to get a hold of Clint and try to like get themselves on the same page and regroup and try to handle the situation. But Clint is saying, well, I'm looking at the king about to toss the baby into the forge. And so and then of course it was like a, you know, that was the end of the episode. It's a cliffhanger. So we don't know what to make of that. But so it was a lot of information in this episode. There's a lot going on. The fight was awesome. You know, the backstory was cool. But so I'm ready to see where this conclude. I don't know what is gonna happen from all of this goings on right now. But it was a great episode. I'm loving Clevatess for real. Peace and love, family.